And good evening, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for the Techaeris Hangout with Rachel Valentine from Zuul Labs. I am Justin Jelinek from Techaeris.com. I am joined by Alex Hernandez, also from Techaeris.com, and of course Rachel Valentine from Zuul Labs. Thank you for joining us, Rachel.
Yes, thanks for having me.
As everybody probably knows by this point, we're going to be talking about Zuul's Kickstarter campaign for their Tall Tales app. To get things kicked off, Rachel, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself? I mean, how long have you been with Zuul? How'd you meet the team? Just tell us a little about the team in general.
Yeah, so I've actually been a part of Zuul Labs for only 3 months, so a short period of time. Zuul as a team has been together for collectively 6 months or so. Most of the group started part-time in January, and all of us started committing a full-time effort towards creating Tall Tales in March. I know the team because actually, if you've checked out our Kickstarter, our creative duo, Crash and Jane, I actually worked with them at a tech company about a year and a half ago and got to know them really well. And I went to another job, and when they decided that they wanted to create this mobile game that was going to benefit dog rescue, they came asking to see if I wanted to be a part of the team that was going to make it happen. And in one lunch meeting with them, hearing about the game, hearing about the game's mission, and kind of being both entertaining but then doing good for such a great cause like dog rescue, I was sold and jumped in full-time after 2 weeks after that, I left my other job and this became my full-time gig.
Nice.
And the team actually is really great, and how I knew them as friends. Everyone that's on this team is actually friends from college, so it's kind of a fun little backstory. That's why everyone works pretty well together.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I believe this kind of relates to everybody meeting in college, but what is the history, or what's behind the Zuul Labs name? I of course imagine that they're all Ghostbusters fans, but I don't think that's.
We should have had the Ghostbusters track here.
Play a Ghostbusters song. While we all do love Ghostbusters, and our CEO actually has the little.
Really?
Our CEO actually has the little Zuul character from Ghostbusters on his desk.
Nice.
The real meaning behind the name is that at college, at the Art Institute in Costa Mesa, California, the server that everyone worked off of was named Zuul. So when everyone was kind of trying to come up with a name, they sort of thought, well, hey, like back in college when all we wanted to do was make our own game exactly how we wanted to with our friends, which is kind of what we're doing now. That's the server we were doing it on, so why not go for Zuul Labs, because it kind of pays a little homage to the beginning.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, I'll kick it over to Alex for a couple of questions.
Sure. How you doing, Rachel?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. So, for those who haven't looked at the Kickstarter yet, can you just give us an idea what it is? Give us an elevator pitch for it.
Yeah, so Zuul Labs is our company. Our game is Tall Tales, and it's a mobile puzzle adventure, and it might look cute and easy at first glance, but don't let the adorable little dogs and bright graphics fool you, because the puzzles actually get incredibly challenging as the levels go on. So what we're trying to accomplish is kind of creating a game with this sort of idea of Candy Crush, where any and all ages can play it and enjoy it, and it keeps you involved because it keeps getting more difficult, and also, the dog characters relate to the dog rescue element that we're actually trying to donate a portion of in-app purchases to dog rescue charities once the app is live. So a little bit longer than an elevator pitch. I kind of just
Elevator
the whole.
Think about being on the Sears Tower.
That's great. For the first couple levels.
So you talk about the game being more difficult as you progress.
Mm-hmm.
How does that? What's your target age on the game itself? I mean, because I have children of my own, and my oldest is 16, but my my next oldest is 5, and she enjoys these type of games. I haven't showed her this because if she sees it, she saw the graphics for it. She's been like, "Daddy, I want to play that. I want to play that."
We'll see.
So, I mean, for someone like that's 5 years old, you know, how is she gonna how's that gonna challenge her? And is she gonna get to a point where it's just like I quit?
Yeah. So see, the great thing about Telltales is, you know, and most games, how they kind of introduce you to the easier levels and kind of work your way up. First off, especially having a daughter, I think she's going to like that there's the character customizations within Telltales, where we've got all the, beyond just choosing the type of dog that you want, you can choose a firefighter, a robot, frogs, and you can kind of mix and match the top portion and the bottom portion. But as for the puzzles, they start out in a way where it's pretty simple. You kind of just have to get the hang of how to draw a line. However, there is the element of a diminishing inkwell, so you can kind of only can do it in so many moves. I'd say kids can start out with the first couple levels probably pretty easily. They are sort of the tutorial type of levels, so you get the feel for it. As it advances, the thing about kids these days is I just feel like they're so tech savvy and great with games, so many of them play them, that I don't really want to put a limit on what age it would be too hard for. But I think that the older you get, you kind of get more challenged as well by the diminishing inkwell. There starts to be these little monsters called path blockers, elements as to how many moves or whether you're not moving for a certain amount of time. A troll comes out and takes your coins. So there's kind of different little obstacles that kind of come in your way, and then as the levels progress, there's also objectives. So our target audience is more of the female demographic, probably late teens, early 20s to early 40s. However, again, the easy levels, I think this is something that kids, that I feel comfortable that my cousins who are kind of younger would be able to pick up an iPhone or an iPad and kind of get into this. We've had a couple family members with children kind of test it out, and all ages so far have seemed to enjoy it. So, but we're focusing on the female kind of mid-age range.
Cool. So I got off track on that one, but a portion of your proceeds are going to be donated to help rescue dogs. This is probably the most important part for me. I really was drawn to the Kickstarter through Justin, who was really excited about it when we talked about it on our podcast, and then subsequently we talked about it on other Hangouts. He was really excited about it, and he kind of got me going on it. So, so the portion of proceeds are going to help rescue dogs in need. So how did Zuul come to that decision, and are you working with any particular shelters or organizations?
So our CEO, Marty Cox, and his wife, Louise Montgomery, have been heavily involved in dog rescue charities for the past 16 years. So when Marty's kind of been an entrepreneur, and when he decided that he kind of wanted to get into mobile, and he got in touch with Crush and Jane, our creative duo, and they were the kind of core group that started talking to form Zuul Labs. Louise sort of said, I believe, to Marty that if he was to kind of go forth with this, she kind of wanted him to be able to incorporate dog rescue in it. And as he got to thinking and all four of them started talking, they thought this was such a great opportunity to incorporate something that they were all very passionate about, and also hopefully do it in a way that will have a greater benefit to dog rescue. So not only just us talking about it to audiences that might not be as familiar with it, kind of within the gaming realm or the indie development realm or the Kickstarter realm, but that once this is live, beyond kind of talking about dog rescue as a focus, we're hoping to be able to donate a substantial amount to dog rescue charities through in-app purchases. And to follow up with how you asked about whether we had specific groups we were working with, we have some that we've been talking to. We haven't really laid in place who or how many groups we would specify to be working with, but we've got a couple through Louise's connections that we're kind of involved with, plus through our outreach with Kickstarter, we've gotten to know and gotten to hear so many great rescue group stories that kind of the more we kind of put this out there, the more feedback we get from rescue groups. So as of right now, we don't have any specifics, but we're hoping to help as many and in ways and as great a way we can.
Right. Yeah. That's a large it's a large project. It's
Yeah.
I mean, from coast to coast, there's a lot of rescue dogs. to help them.
Yeah.
One small developer is not going to help the whole world, but you're making a
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
so basically, it didn't sound like it sounds like everybody was on board from the start, and didn't take much convincing to get everybody to go along with this idea, huh?
Yeah, no, so the founders were all definitely gung-ho on it, and then as they started kind of pulling together the creative team, programmers, myself, everybody that they talked to, I think the project became instantly more attractive when hearing about how beyond just being involved in the mobile gaming, it was kind of doing mobile gaming for good, and we kind of created this little team credo of have fun, do good, play mobile. So that's kind of now what our group sort of tries to live by.
Nice. I'm gonna kick it back over to Justin.
I was kind of asleep at the switch a little bit on that last question, switching the camera around, because I was trying to get my rescue dog to come over and say hi to everybody, but she's kind of asleep, so I'll see if I can get over here in a minute. Here, hold on. Bailey, come here. Come here.
Oh.
This is my rescue puppy.
Oh, so
this is
cute.
Bailey. She's
the little brown patch on her eye.
She's sleepy and doesn't necessarily want to. Oh, she want to give me kisses. Okay, thank you.
I've met her a couple times.
Oh yeah,
Bailey's
tried
to eat me.
No,
she did not. She's a good dog.
She'd want to give me kisses. That's about it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
She's our little smush face.
Did you get her from a specific rescue group?
Oh, Chicago Canine Rescue, actually.
Perfect. That's exciting.
I guess to digress very briefly, just because it's kind of a cool story.
Yeah.
The foster mom that had her before we did was going to pick up dog food for her two dogs, actually, and saw Bailey walking around in the streets of Chicago. She thought, now you can kind of see her yawning on the...
Yeah, now she's involved.
Yeah, now she's involved, all right. So the foster mom said, I don't need another dog, but I'll call her if she comes over. Then we'll see what happens. So she called her over, and Bailey just what? Huh? Tail wagging all crazy came over and wanted to lick her face and everything. So when we actually went to see Bailey for the first time, we fell in love with her immediately, and the timing really couldn't have been more perfect, because about a week after we went and saw her, the foster mom that had her before we did was moving to Texas and wasn't going to be able to take her with her. So they really needed to find a place for her to go, and it really honestly worked out perfectly, the timing of it, because we saw her and she's been our little smush face ever since.
Aww,
so
cute.
That's enough of my my digression for right now, but that's a story.
Ladies and gentlemen, you saw the soft side of Justin Gentleman.
So that's our silly little smush face that you'll be able to see over my shoulder here for probably the rest of the hangout, unless she curls up the other way. So to get back on track.
She's a great dog, Justin. You know that, right?
But it's so fun talking about dogs.
Oh yeah, she's adorable and she's a sweetheart. Anyways, speaking of taking care of animals, though, getting us back on track, is Tall Tales going to take steps to educate the players about responsible pet ownership, and what are some of the things that, if it is, what are some of the things that it's going to do?
Yeah, we definitely wanted to subtly include messages that related to or encouraged responsible pet ownership. However, we knew that with this game, the moment we made it too educational, that people would be drawn back from it and wouldn't find it as fun or appealing. And since it's supposed to be a game, it's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be challenging. However, we found ways that we thought did it in such subtle ways, such as, when you're choosing or when you're first picking out your character, you're actually adopting the dog character from the shelter. Nice. And rather than just naming it, you're actually licensing your dog. And we kind of have created a few sort of loading screens that had messages sort of, that included save lives, spay and neuter. We haven't fully decided if that particular loading screen will go into the final product or if that one and other ones will, but we're definitely incorporating the idea of adoption and the licensing your pet within the game. And kind of, if people are to look around our website or social media pages, we definitely talk a lot about responsible pet ownership and responsible pet care. However, we've been kind of trying to find ways to inject it into the game, but in such subtle ways so that it doesn't turn people away from the game. Because
so you're not beating people over the head with
yeah, because ultimately, with our goal being that we want to, for every in-app purchase, having a percentage donated dog rescues, we need a lot of people playing the game that are interested and willing to purchase something for 99 cents every so often. And to do that, you have to have a game that is appealing to people. So, our team has definitely put in a lot of work to make it visually appealing, make it challenging, make it something that everyone's going to want to play, because ultimately the more people that play, the more people that talk about it, the more we can really do to benefit dog rescue.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked with a couple of developers and a couple of groups that have been going through the Kickstarter process, but obviously it's going to be different for everybody going through it.
Yeah.
What really has the Kickstarter process been like for you specifically, but for your team as well?
Yeah, the Kickstarter process, and I'm sure everyone will agree, is definitely always a learning curve for your first time. It's been, for me specifically, a mixture of emotions. As the community manager and kind of spearheading the social accounts, reaching out to journalists, reaching out to rescue groups, it's been really exciting, at times very encouraging, at other moments very frustrating, as with any Kickstarter campaign. Our whole team has really enjoyed and kind of learned from it, and right now we're hoping that we're able to kind of take the final jump in the last 7 days to get to our goal. However, we're taking in all the information and putting it in a positive light that, throughout this we've been creating brand awareness, we've been getting kind of honest feedback from people on what they think about the game, and kind of just, learning better things that people want to see within the game, better ways to market it to, different individuals. So Kickstarter has been a great educational experience, as well as hopefully, fingers crossed, it will be a great experience and that we get a funded product. For me, I went on such a tangent, I'm not really sure what the original question was, but I just keep thinking me, and how it has been for me is it's been a lot of fun. It's been really stressful at times. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking because every day it's just another day closer to the end, where you're trying to have that goal. But regardless, it's been a positive experience.
Excellent. It's good to hear. So we'll get it back to Alex for a couple more questions.
Oh yeah, I got a few more.
Perfect.
So, in what other ways have you been spreading the word about the app and Zuul and everything? Have you talked with shelters? I know you're doing a lot of social media, but is there anything local that you're doing? Reaching out to other avenues to spread the word around?
Yeah, so obviously we've been doing a lot of social media. We've also been reaching out to local media. So it's been great. We actually saw a story about us in the OC Register, which is kind of a larger publication here, as well as the HB Independent, which is a little bit smaller, but the HB for Huntington Beach, which is where our company's based. And that's been really positive in getting local kind of recognition or awareness. I've been reaching out to different rescue groups as well as pet bloggers, because in addition to just kind of trying to promote our game, we're trying to raise awareness for certain rescue groups. So we've been trying to collect rescue stories as well to highlight on our personal blog. So I've been reaching out to rescue groups, pet bloggers, indie bloggers, indie review sites. We also created, actually I have one right here, we created a bunch of kind of like handout cards with like our game and then like a QR code. So I've been putting these in Starbucks on the bulletin boards. We have a couple different kind of like printout posters, sort of the same thing to put in like stores. We kind of have wanted to we haven't done as much of this, but for the app launch too, we're thinking of reaching out to, just different kind of the dog companies in the area. Where our little office is, there's a, where they go to get their hair cut. I'm trying to think of what the name is, but reaching out to anything that's dog related, or people that, the dog community is so great, and everyone's so kind of supportive of people within the dog community, that we're really trying to get that recognition, both with that community plus the gaming community and kind of the mom bloggers as well. So yeah, so we're trying it all.
Have any other websites picked up your app and reported on it, like other tech websites, other gaming sites?
Yeah, so we had 2 articles on Indie Game Magazine, which was pretty cool because they do a lot of social media stuff as well. We had one, Sasha Talks Tech. She's kind of a female tech reporter in LA. And Shoost Games, it's another indie game site, and Clicks, like CLIQIST, I'm probably saying it wrong. But so we've definitely seen people interested. We got on to the KFI afternoon radio podcast online. Nice. So that was really exciting, to kind of have our CEO just do like a brief phone call with Mark Thompson, which was pretty incredible. So we've tried to reach out to every avenue and hope that, with every single thing we do, including this Google plus Hangout, that it just further increases kind of awareness of Tall Tales and our mission for dog rescue.
Sure. So you got about a week left on the Kickstarter. What are you going to do different as the fundraising ramps up? You're getting in the last home stretch here.
Yes. So we're kind of revisiting all of the online means that we've been using of reaching out to bloggers that maybe didn't really respond to us at first, trying to reach out again, doing a little bit of Twitter ads and Facebook ads. We've kind of definitely taken on the personal approach and trying to reach out to people within the community in personal communication, so that we can kind of show them on our phones, because we have a test build on our phones, so that they can see a little bit more than what we have on our Kickstarter. And again, kind of just, we have so many of these cards. We've also done a couple, they have meetups. We've done a couple local, Orange County, the OC iOS developers meetup, and they had a women in tech meetup that we did the Tall Tales demo at. So that was great too, because then we got to meet other local developers and people interested in the tech industry.
Yeah. I can't remember. How did Justin? How did you hear about Zuul?
Actually, fairly randomly, Rachel circled me on Google+. At first,
she hooked you.
I was like, wait, what? It was shortly after we had done a review for another mobile app, so I was getting circled by some other mobile app developers, shortly afterwards.
Yeah.
And I got, like, Rachel.
And nobody uses Google+.
No, nobody ever. No. So Rachel circled me, and I went and looked at her page, and it's like, oh, okay, so she's also a mobile app developer. All right, I'll circle her back and keep an eye on what she's doing.
Nice.
So one thing, I suppose, led to another, and then here we are.
Yeah. Good thing I post so regularly on our company accounts and my personal accounts. Yeah, you don't even want to be my Facebook friend right now, because they've been so hard.
All right, Justin, you got some more questions?
Oh yeah. So now I guess Alex will take a little bit more of a backseat, because he's not really as much into gaming as I am, but that's all right. So the rest of them will be coming from me. Yeah. So about the gameplay, it's described as a pop-up storybook. So what kind of cutscenes, story progression, stuff like that can we see outside of the puzzle level parts?
Yep. So outside of the puzzle play and the staging area, at the end of how our game is kind of broken up, currently we have 5 storybook levels, and in each storybook there's 25 puzzle levels. So once you complete the first kind of chapter and you finish, there will be your first kind of comic book style sequence of a story event that relates to the storybook that you just completed. They're kind of Sleeping Beauty theme, Jack and the Beanstalk, Woman in the Shoe, kind of the fairy tale grimoires that you're familiar with.
Okay.
But our own spin on it that incorporates Zuul, our little puppy. So that'll be, once you finish each of the 25 level books, then you'll kind of enter into this kind of comic book style, about like 2-page sort of sequence where it kind of tells you the story of, what you just accomplished in this level and what you're kind of going into in the next level. And as you go, they kind of get more intricate. And when I was talking to our visual design guy, his kind of idea is that as you move along, you actually, so in our Kickstarter as well, we have a Skip and a Jake who are sort of the dogs that you become familiar with. But Zuul is also in this storybook realm, and he's kind of more of the dark character, and he's kind of, he's actually looking at what you're doing and following along too. So as it progresses, each little comic book series becomes more intricate of what's kind of going on, and you become more invested in kind of the story that's evolving as you play.
Excellent. So another thing that's mentioned on the Kickstarter page, and you see some screenshots that showed in there, is the adventure stage that's up at the top of the puzzle board. And I saw that, and it said that you interact with the adventure stage, and that really intrigued me. I wanted a little bit more information about that. Like, what exactly can you do in the adventure stage, and how does that affect how you're playing?
So our staging area, or kind of adventure stage above our puzzle board, is sort of a little bit more of a unique thing. Rather than just playing the puzzle and being kind of in the board, your character avatar that you've customized is kind of alongside you on top of or in this little staging area. And as you're playing, kind of character involvement comes where if you pause, our Professor Barkington, who's sort of the in-app know-it-all, who offers hints of help, but kind of maybe sometimes does a little snoodily.
So he's like the paperclip in Microsoft Office.
Yes, exactly.
I was just going to say Clippy. Your version of Clippy.
So he kind of comes out and interacts with your character and sort of says, like, better move along, son. Like, don't wait, don't wait around too long. And in this staging area as well, when you kind of run into trouble with the monster within the puzzle, that kind of action is also replicated within the staging area, where our little troll comes out, and the dog, when he hasn't really had interaction yet, kind of gets down and is growling at him. If you have an issue with the monster on the puzzle board, the troll, as of right now, how I think it's going to play out, will then lick you and steal your coins, which no one wants to lose their coins.
No, or be licked by a troll item.
Exactly. So the little adventure or staging area is just a way to incorporate characterization to what would be just a standard kind of boring puzzle board.
Fantastic.
I think you should give them more credit than Clippy, Justin. I think you should say that it's their Yoda.
Yeah, there you go.
That's cool.
Yoda's a little nicer than Clippy, but when you said he only comes out when you're paused, that kind of
yeah.
Maybe.
But Yoda, that way he's a little more philosophical.
That does sound better. I mean, who doesn't like it?
Yeah.
Yoda's pretty fantastic. So you did mention this a little bit previously, but I wanted to just talk a little bit more about the monsters. Specifically, I guess we'll give one of our other editors, Chris Winiger, a little bit of a hard time, because when we talked about this on the podcast, he was looking over the Kickstarter at the time. He's like, "Oh, that little block with the mushroom on it is awesome." So I guess I just wanted to know a little bit more about the monsters, and obviously the troll will lick you and steal your coins. But are there any other ways that they affect the gameplay and the puzzles?
So we also have the little rock that has like the mushroom on his head. These are
that Chris really likes. Yeah.
He's our path blocker. So they are kind of, as you get into the higher levels, they are walking around the puzzle, and you kind of have to strategically touch every tile without kind of getting in his way, and you kind of have to map out your path to get past him, but still touch every tile around him, but not let him get you, because otherwise he doesn't let you move and kind of can push you back a few spaces and then obviously lose your ink. The troll is one of our other monsters that kind of takes your coins. We're contemplating incorporating other sort of bosses that you would have to fight at the end of certain storybooks. However, that was kind of more if we got into our stretch goals and had more time with funding. So we're not fully committed to incorporating additional monsters. Right now it's just those two. However, we're definitely open to thinking of some more. Actually, no, there is one that's called Huggles, and yeah, he's another one that comes in kind of at the further along levels, and I think he takes your coins and kind of power-ups as well.
Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to lose their power-ups to the Huggles.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about in-app purchases earlier, but other than obviously the in-app purchases helping with the donations to the dog rescue, what other, I guess, obviously they'll unlock some of the various different costumes and stuff like that, but for the person that doesn't necessarily want to, for the jerks that don't want to help animals in need, do you need the in-app purchases, or can you unlock the same sorts of items to the game?
Yeah, you do not need to buy anything to succeed in the game. However,
But you'd be a jerk if you don't.
By completing purchases, you're just given more options of the dog characters, additional dog skins of these disguises that we've created. You can purchase additional ink if you're kind of running low, certain power-ups to beat levels faster. However, none of the power-ups are, it's kind of on that borderline of sometimes, when you're kind of not being able to finish a level as fast as you want to, then you sort of succumb to the fateful 99 cents to help flash your way past that level a little bit faster. However, power-ups and additional costumes can all be earned. Everything can be earned from within the game. The in-app purchase is just sort of that little additional bonus that if you kind of want to speed things along. And if you want to help out dogs.
and you should want to help out dogs because dogs are awesome. But
exactly.
We'll just leave it at that you should really want to help out dogs. Dogs are awesome. So at the Kickstarter at the $35 level and above, I believe, there's a bunch of swag, a bunch of really awesome stuff like hats and other fun stuff like that. So outside of the Kickstarter, do you plan to continue having some of the sorts of swag that people can purchase with the cool little dog logo on there?
Yeah, we haven't fully decided. However, I think we're all leaning in the direction that, we think it's awesome, so we think that maybe other people will think it's awesome and kind of have the option to sell it on our website. It isn't fully decided. However, one of our, I think it's at the $115 tier, kind of coffee comes into it.
Yeah, I saw that.
If people are, depending on how much you've read about our company or game, basically our CEO, prior to kind of jumping into the mobile realm, he used to work in the coffee industry and sort of has this, he loves coffee and is familiar with coffee. So we created our own Zuul blend, and it is actually 100% of the net proceeds goes to dog rescue. And that is actually available for purchase on off of Delano's Coffee Roasters website. I think it's just delanos.com, but I could be wrong with that. But,
send me the link. We'll put it in the follow-up article tomorrow.
Yes, please do.
Perfect.
I'm a coffee drinker, so.
Oh yeah, it's
so
great.
My wife,
Everyone's loved it so far. But so we definitely are going to continue with that. And like I said, that's sort of any profit that's made off of that coffee is going to be donated fully to animal rescue. Back to the swag, we'll probably sell it on our website. However, it kind of depends on sort of the interest that revolves around Tall Tales and Zuul Labs, because to print stuff, shirts, jackets, hats, any of that can be kind of costly. But I know everyone on our team wants it, so we're probably going to at least do a first bundle and then whatever extra. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we've been powering right through these questions. We're starting to run out. Alex, is there anything you can think of else that you want to ask?
I'm looking for the coffee website. Sorry, I got distracted.
All right. So
search Dillanos, Dillanos. Hopefully that helps you.
Well, we'll give Alex a chance to
Yeah.
do that. So I guess we'll wrap this up a little earlier, but that's okay. So what would you say? What would you tell people that are on the fence? They aren't sure if they want to back Tall Tales. What would you tell them to push them over the edge?
Well, I would definitely encourage them to, number one, check out our page regardless of whether you feel like backing or not, because once you see our graphics and the animations, you can kind of tell our team is extremely talented, and we have a lot of potential to really deliver a game that is kind of above and beyond what most kind of first launches would be. And in addition to that, I mean, nowadays everyone's always standing in line or hanging out at home playing something. You want to play something on your phone that doesn't really require too much time and you can pick up and play whenever. And Tall Tales does exactly that. It's entertaining enough that you kind of want to keep playing, but it doesn't really, you can play it and stop it easily wherever you are and kind of keep going. And the fact that really we've just created a game that isn't just about the game, it's about so much more, and that we really want to be able to help dog rescue. If you don't like mobile games and you don't like puzzles, chances are you probably like dogs a little bit. So even if it's pledging just $1, our team cannot be more thrilled, because it just means that $1 is one more person that's willing to be behind us, and hopefully tell another friend, because another friend would be another $1 sort of thing. And I just really encourage anyone to just at least check out the graphics of the game, because
they're amazing. They look excellent.
It's pretty awesome. I think that our creative team has just done a really fantastic job. All of the animation that we've included, plus if you kind of are into strategy and you like competition, these puzzles, like I said, as you advance, you kind of sit there and you're like, okay, I don't want to move because I don't want my inkwell to run out. So you're like, okay. Like for me, I feel like I'm playing chess with myself, because I'm kind of like mapping out my little path before I move, and then I'm like, oh no, like the monster's gonna come if I don't move soon. So I don't know. I think it might seem deceptive to especially a male audience that first looks at it, because it is dogs that are bright graphics, but the more you kind of look at it, or once we have it out to play, I think it'll be similar to the Candy Crush, that kind of any age, any audience really, can find it amusing.
Well, I played Disney's Frozen on my iPad, so if I can do that,
yes,
then men out there can play a little doggy game.
And honestly,
did you start singing "Let It Go"?
I sing it all the time. I walked in from work today, and all the kids were singing "Let It Go." And it was blaring over the Bluetooth speaker, and my wife was just like, "I'm tired of this song."
Complete and utter, just apropos to nothing. There's a video, if you're familiar with the game Team Fortress 2.
Uh-huh.
They made a video of the heavy character, the heavy gunner, singing his version of "Let It Go."
Okay.
And it's the whole thing is just completely ridiculous. But what really got me is in Frozen, when she makes the staircase of ice, and it goes up. Heavy made a staircase of sandwiches. And, I saw that and just oh.
There's some good parodies out there.
I was gonna say, I think it's been super entertaining, at least seeing some of the parodies that have kind of come up online. I mean, I've seen everything from the Game of Thrones to ones about Starbucks.
Oh, man. But again, going back to the graphics, there's certainly a difference between something that is kiddie, or something that is geared towards children, or something that has good high quality to it. And I think you guys are certainly more of the latter than the former. It's high quality graphics. They're maybe kind of cutesy and vibrant and stuff like that, but they look fantastic. I mean, the graphics and the animation look.
I just thought you might catch the brony market.
Yeah, you got, it's so funny to say that because I can't wait till one of my teammates or one of our animator guys watches this because we always tease him about the brony market, and he does some face painting on the side and kind of has some of that.
So maybe during the last week of Kickstarter, that's your niche.
You asked for what my new tactics were in this next week to encourage our team to reach out. I'm going to go to the Bronies.
Go to
all Bronies.
Yeah, actually, I have a Google Plus follower. It's a Brony.
Yes.
I'm not going to call them out. I'm not going to call them out.
Send it to them privately.
Watch and support them.
Yeah.
Sorry, just send it to them privately. Say, here, this is your dream game. There you go. Give them lots of money.
That's awesome. But well, kind of also before the hilarity of the brony conversation, I just kind of wanted to say, like, going back to the graphics, it really is a testament to our team. We mentioned that we kind of all went to college together, minus myself, but they all went their separate ways and kind of were involved in, both Crash and Jane worked at Blizzard. We have people that have worked at, Nickelodeon. Done work for the History Channel. A bunch of different games from, The Dark Knight, Coraline. We have a team that has a broad range of experience and not just experience, but really great experience. So then having them come back and kind of come behind this effort, they're putting so much of what they've learned at other great companies and working on other great games into this, and so hopefully other people will kind of start to see that, and Tall Tales will grow.
Here's hoping. I even the first time we talked about you guys was on our second podcast. It was a couple weeks ago.
Third one, I think.
Second or third. One of them we were talking about you guys, and I even said your coworkers have just amazing resumes. It's really honestly ridiculous.
Yeah. So we got a super talented team, and I love being around them because I feel like I myself have learned so much, and I just hope that their talent doesn't gets shown, and everybody's sort of passion project comes to fruition. So.
Absolutely.
And we were talking earlier before we went live. I've looked at Kickstarters for a long time, but yours is the first one I've supported.
Yay!
So I'm a backer.
And anyone watching this should do the same thing.
They should do the same thing.
Yeah, Alex and I are both backers actually. I backed very slightly higher than Alex, but that's okay. He's got kids, so
I have children.
I won't bust his chops about that too much.
You just did.
I said I wouldn't bust them too much. I didn't say I wouldn't bust your chops. I just said I wouldn't bust them too much.
I'm just proud that I'm first time Kickstarter here.
Getting involved in Kickstarter now.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Let's see where it takes you.
All right. Well, I've run out of questions.
Well, thank you guys both so much for having me on and letting me go on a couple side tangents about this and that, but ultimately just getting to tell everyone about Tall Tales. We really appreciate it.
That's what we're here for.
We ended up talking about bronies. So
so it's a good hangout.
Absolutely. So, again, I'm Justin Jelinek with Techaeris. I want to thank Alex, also from Techaeris, and, of course, Rachel Valentine from Zuul Labs for joining us this evening. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. We certainly enjoyed talking to each other. Thanks, you guys. Have a wonderful evening.
See ya.
Bye.